This is your Weather Xtreme video for this Saturday morning, January the 30th. I'm meteorologist Bill Murray, sitting in for Brian Peters, who's out swapping lies on the storytelling circuit this morning. He'll be back next week with the videos, but we've got a severe weather situation to talk about here in central Alabama. Perhaps some good news overnight. It's too early to really tell how good that news is. Still a significant chance of severe weather on Tuesday, but perhaps some developments overnight that have been favorable. Satellite picture this morning over the southeastern United States shows mostly clear skies across central Alabama. Some high clouds overnight moving through the Tennessee Valley. We've still got some high clouds associated with the subtropical jet stream over the Gulf Coast, the Gulf of Mexico, and Florida. But here in Alabama, we were clear and mostly cold overnight. Temperatures dropping into the lower and middle 30s, some heavy frost across a good bit of the area. Interestingly, though, the temperature at Birmingham dropped down to 37, but then bounced back after midnight. Southeasterly surface winds kicked in, broke the inversion, allowed the atmosphere to mix. Some warmer air aloft came down and drove temperatures into the middle 40s. Topped out around 46 around 4 o'clock. It was 45 here at 5 a.m., and that made for a little more tolerable conditions if you're heading out early this morning here in Birmingham. It will be a beautiful day on this Saturday across the region. Temperatures yesterday in the upper 50s to lower 60s will be 5 to 7 degrees warmer than that today across central Alabama with a good supply of sunshine. We'll call for afternoon highs to be in the upper 60s across the area. Looking at the National Radar Composite this morning, radars across the southern United States taking the day off. They won't have much to work with. Some light snow showers moving through New York, Great Lakes region, out west, parts of the Rockies, the Intermountain region, the Sierras, getting some snow showers. We'll see the effects of that in just a minute. Some rain showers moving into the Pacific Northwest up around Seattle. Surface map this morning, overlaying on top of that a radar picture, shows high pressure over the outer banks of North Carolina, over Florida. That ridging blocking, keeping us nice and warm and dry over the southeast for the weekend. We've got a weakening surface low near Kansas City, another one south of Denver, and more over the Intermountain region as that storm system gets organized. But the good news is we've got a beautiful weekend in tap here. If you're heading out to Colorado and the Rockies, you got some beautiful weather for skiing. Winter weather advisories, winter storm watches, winter storm warnings cover a good bit of that region. For today, 6 to 12 inches of snow expected in many places. Some spots will get higher, but they'll be measuring the snowfall in feet as we head toward Monday as a big snowstorm breaks out over the western United States. Here's the surface profile this morning. Low pressure up in Canada, high pressure there shown in blue over the eastern United States, keeping us nice and giving us a beautiful day here in Alabama. Nothing changes through the day today, just a few high clouds at times, but temperatures in the upper 60s. Now, as we go through time tonight and then tomorrow, we'll see surface low develop near Denver. It'll swing out onto the plains, but it'll have very little in the way of upper-level support. By tonight, it's there over southeastern Kansas. It makes the turn, starts to head to the northeast, and reforms during the day tomorrow near Chicago. A little cold front will be pushing its way here towards us, but as it does, it will weaken. Now, tomorrow again promises to be another beautiful day. High temperatures in the upper 60s, a good supply of sunshine. Few spots down around Demopolis, Selma, Montgomery will hit 70 degrees tomorrow. But all in all, a beautiful Sunday in store for Alabama. As we move toward Monday and continue to watch the surface chart, you can see by Monday morning we have a new surface low developing out there in the Rocky Mountain region. That system promises to bring a widespread snowfall to parts of Utah, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico. They'll be measuring the snows between 30 and 40 inches across Colorado, some of my favorite places. Places like Leadville, Alamosa, Gunnison. They'll be picking up some really extreme snowfall amounts. Even places down around Telluride, the San Juans, might see 30 to 40 inches of snow before this system is said and done. But of course, with any cyclone this time of year, there's also a warm sector. As the low gets its act together Monday night, turns to the northeast, Alabama will find itself in an increasing southerly wind. Lots of Gulf moisture being transported to the north. Our dew points will push through the 50s into the lower and middle 60s by Tuesday morning. The air will have that stormy feel by Tuesday morning with a mix of sun and clouds. Southerly winds averaging some 10 to 20 miles an hour, gusting over 25 miles an hour at time. times, and dew points will be in the lower middle 60s, giving it a humid feel. So you'll have that stormy feel by the time we get to Tuesday. Now, the good news is that the overnight model runs have trended slower with this system, slower with the upper trough, slower with the surface low and the cold front, and that gives us some cause for hope because, as you know, systems that arrive during the peak heating of the day in Alabama are the ones that we have the most concern about in terms of instability, and generally that indicates the intensity of the thunderstorms that we'll be dealing with. But again, we're dealing with a very dynamic storm system that will have lots of very powerful winds aloft, and it's something that we'll be watching still very carefully. The surface low moves to near Chicago by midnight Tuesday night. The cold front pushes on toward the southeast, and as the surface low moves on out to the northeast, high pressure builds in behind it. Will be cooler and drier as we head into the weekend. Now, the parameters are always what we're interested in. First, we'll start with the upper winds. You can see here by Tuesday evening, we've got very strong upper level wind maximum going from Dallas to Chicago. Winds running some 130 to 160 knots, and that puts Alabama in a very favorable position from an upper level wind field for rising air and for thunderstorms to become quite intense. So that, again, is another factor, that very dynamic system. A low-level jet, a very strong low-level jet, will be developing from northern Alabama into the Ohio Valley. That will be very efficient at transporting warm, moist Gulf air all the way northward into places like Ohio and Michigan. And that low-level wind shear causes us a good deal of concern as the storms move into the state. But again, some indications that the system might move slower. That pushes the instabilities, the highest instabilities, back to the west over parts of Mississippi and Tennessee. And if that trend continues in future model runs, then perhaps we won't have quite the high impact event that we've been talking about. But again, we're not out of the woods just yet. It's something that could shift over the next few model runs. Here's the instabilities off of the GFS for Tuesday at 3 o'clock. And we see a thin ribbon of instability all the way up into central Illinois, back through Memphis. It looks like the best showers and thunderstorms will be going on Tuesday afternoon from places like Memphis to Greenwood to Vicksburg and Natchez, where those instabilities will be around 500 joules per kilogram. We do note that the European has some instability still in the 500 to 1,000 joules per kilogram range over Alabama. Could we see showers and thunderstorms developing Tuesday afternoon ahead of the main line? Those would, of course, cause us some great concern. But the GFS a little bit slower and a little bit less bullish on that possibility. Again, a very dynamic storm system, though. These are wind shear values for 6 o'clock Tuesday night. You can see they're quite extreme over the Ohio Valley with a little tongue of high wind shear back into western Alabama. Again, that means a very dynamic storm system and one that will continue to pose threat of severe weather, especially damaging winds and isolated tornadoes as a line of thunderstorms moves into Alabama on Tuesday night. Here we see the GFS's depiction of that during the late afternoon hours on Tuesday. You see the showers and thunderstorms over Mississippi. They'll be pushing into Alabama after 6 o'clock Tuesday night. And then after we get the system on out of here, the weekend looks dry and cool, and some cooler temperatures will be with us over the rest of the time as you go through, peaking out around 68 to 70 degrees on Tuesday, or 68 on Monday, 70 on Tuesday. Wednesday, 66 degrees with clearing skies and cooler temperatures. And you see from that point forward here on the GFS's ensembles, temperatures will be in the 40s and 50s for highs, lows in the 30s for several days after that. Now, correspondingly, the folks at the Storm Prediction Center looking at that this morning, and let's go right here and show you that. They have shifted those highest probabilities back to the west just a little bit. Still, you can see all of central Alabama and still a 15% chance of severe weather within 25 miles of any location in that area. But the 30% probabilities that really had our attention are shifted back into northwestern Alabama, everywhere from Lamar, Pickens County, Marion County, up into the northwest corner of the state, back into Mississippi and Tennessee. And so if this trend continues, that gives us a little bit of hope that perhaps things won't be quite as bad as what we thought earlier. We'll keep our fingers crossed. Still a situation that requires your attention. something that should make you want to review your severe weather safety plans, determine where you'll be on Tuesday, keep a very close eye on the sky, and have a way to receive official warnings from the National Weather Service, because I'm almost certain that we'll be dealing with severe thunderstorm warnings and a few tornado warnings as we head toward Tuesday. So keep your fingers crossed that perhaps the system won't be as bad as was earlier advertised, but stay tuned right here for the very latest developments throughout the weekend. I'll be back with your Weather Extreme video for Sunday. We'll have frequent updates throughout the day on the blog. Just pay attention to the weather. Don't be concerned about it. Don't be anxious, but have a plan and be ready to use it. I'm meteorologist Bill Murray from the ABC 3340 Weather Center. See you tomorrow morning. Have a great day, and God bless.